You're listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Interfed Radio. Welcome to Living Nightmare After Hour Trash Talk Edition. With me today in studios, Commissioner Scott Anderson. Commissioner, welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
Oh man,
I'm
trash
ready
talk.
to, yeah,
to talk some trash. To talk some trash.
ready to talk some trash.
Oh, I love it, man. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah, you know what? I think this way it's gonna let us focus a little more as to all the commissioner duties on the previous show. We get all the trash talk and all the angles brewing because a lot's gone on since Head in the Box. Let me tell you.
For sure. I think that's one of the, as a commissioner, that's one of the, I don't want to say stressful, but like most anxiety filled is the cycle right after, or two cycles right after a pay-per-view. You're like, oh, is everybody going to get involved in something? What are we going to do? Where are we going to go from here? But yeah, we've got some really good stuff brewing.
Oh yeah. Now, uh, the first one that I encounter is it's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot.
Oh.
Now, I gotta say it like it is. I mean, Bigfoot. I mean, the first picture we saw of Bigfoot, we just saw his teeth. Looked like I thought he was like growling or something, but from the looks of it, it looks like he was probably just smiling in that other picture that we saw of him the last time.
Maybe he was only smiling. Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems very so he introduces himself here. He seems very I don't know if personable is the right word, but certainly very is friendly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like he said, that he's a gentle giant. He's a gentle giant.
Gentle. Right. Right. But he does encounter something.
Uh, Now, I mean, this is the Living Nightmare League, and you know, and the nice thing about social media these days is it lets us reach out to different individuals, and obviously, the more individuals you can get involved with an angle, the more continuity you can have. And being that Dennis had such a big part in that Head in the Box finale, I had to reach out to him, because if I'm going to run something around, something if I'm going to piggyback off of his angle, I wanted to have his, double thumbs up. So I'm like, hey, can I have him, say something, because I know you wanted to kill him off, and I know you're working a different angle, but can I still have him say, one last word? And he's all like, yeah, definitely. I'm like, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, here's Bigfoot, and he starts hearing a voice in his head, you know, near the locker room, and being the gentle, giant that he is, wants nothing to do with it, so he starts walking the other way, and the voice gets louder and louder. Next thing you know, he just can't resist, but he starts walking, walking towards the voice, and in the locker rooms, there in the corner, looks like Sinister Bagul left the Head in the Box, just kind of near his locker room, and here goes Bigfoot, can't resist, opens the box, and sure enough, Reverend Boswell's head, eyes wide open, eyes wide open. Oh man! So it looks like Boswell had one last command for him, and it's basically kill them all,
Yeah. Like the Metallica album says, right?
kill them all.
Um, but I think it's really interesting. I don't know how much more that aspect is going to be developed, but it's this idea of, since we're in the Living Nightmare League, is this something where Bigfoot is kind of imagining this? Is this something supernatural going on? Is this something where maybe something is reaching out to him? I don't know. Uh, so I'll be interested to see where that goes.
They're gonna end up bringing Boswell back somehow, some way. I think, man. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
A lot going on with those dragons, anyways.
Right. And I think too it could depend on when Sinister Bagul cashes in his when he cashes in Boswell's head for his underworld title match.
Yeah, see what happens when he cashes it in. See what happens.
Yeah. Right.
I love it.
Who knows?
Oh man. Now last cycle we saw Wolfman Joe for the first time. He wasn't looking too good though when we left him. He wasn't looking too good when
Nope.
we left
He
him.
was down and out.
He was down and out, man. So looks like he's back, and yeah, it looks like Wolfman Joe is going after them dragons, huh?
You know
You're
what?
like
Now that
you're
I
like
see this picture, for some reason, I now I see it. That 2 pages was included in my regular bulletin. I do have that. So yeah, go ahead.
aha.
Coming for your heads. Yes.
You're like we're coming for your heads. You're like I remember that it got stuck in the other part of the bulletin.
Yeah, I
Aha.
do. Yeah. I mean,
So the so
how could I forget
so
this?
the IWA shuffles it around then.
Well, I don't know if it's so much that they shuffle. I mean, sort of. It's just the we're coming for your heads and the Morbius on the other side of that
Oh, nice.
was
Okay.
like stuffed into my cards instead of my trash talk. So I'm gonna move it into my trash talk area now.
Now you want to know why? To be dead honest with you, it's
Why
because
is that?
IWA Flip sends his stuff so freaking late that they probably printed the matches and then my trash talk got there after and they printed the trash talk like afterwards or something.
Uh, okay.
Uh-huh. That bum. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get better.
At
I am
least
trying
you
to get.
admit the truth, sir.
I'm trying to get better at sending them in sooner. I really am. I need to work on that. I need to work on that. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it looks
So
like
we're coming
Fox.
for.
Yeah, it looks like Fox Woman's holding. Speaking of heads, we had a head in the box, and now it looks like she's holding Dragon Rojo's head.
She means business.
Now I want to talk about the Frankenstein trash talk before we talk about before we move into the Morbius one because I think I wish they would have printed them one after the other, but
Yeah.
it didn't quite work out that way. It didn't quite work out
Yeah.
that way.
That's okay. I think it still works. Right. So our humble suggestion would be that people read the Dr. Frankenstein trash talk prior to reading the Morbius trash talk.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be I mean what do we know about Morbius? I mean the first time we meet him he was turning down it looked like the LNL welcome committee got attacked by him.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, we weren't quite sure why he, it almost looked like the LNL Welcome Committee attacked Morbius,
Right.
and he was just defending himself, and I think he killed the guy by accident because at the end of it all, he felt bad, and
Right. He
then
definitely. It definitely. I definitely have the impression that he does not want to kill anyone, or at least he is conflicted about the possibility of hurting people.
oh yeah, no, because I mean the next time we saw him, try and get a meeting with Boswell prior to heading the box. Unfortunately, he got into a skirmish with one of the dragons, and obviously he didn't want to kill him either, so he just swung
Right.
him,
So pulled
uh,
on his tail.
pulled on his tail, and swung him around that poor dragon. Oh, that image still has me haunted. Still has me haunted. Oh man. So and then the following cycle, it looks like he goes and tries to get some answers from Catfish and Company, and he ends up getting into a confrontation with Wolfman Joe. Ends up biting Wolfman Joe, which, from what I heard, kind of had some effects of their own on him. Did you catch that or?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I was like, ooh, the plot thickens. That could be
Yes.
really interesting.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so we got a lot brewing on. If you guys missed it, I mean, it looks like Wolfman Joe now is also werewolf vampire. What
May
kind of?
have some vampire tendencies.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even know what you would call that. A were vampire or whatever. But yeah, it looks like Wolfman Joe's gonna.
Hybrid, I believe. I believe,
Yeah, there
if
you go.
if you're an underworld fan, he's a hybrid. Yeah.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, so watch out for Wolfman Joe. A lot going on with him. So he bites him. Looks like uh one of Dr. Frankenstein's helpers or whatever not, whips him away, pretty much taking him to Dr. Frankenstein, which leads us to this cycle story, and if you haven't, yeah, Dr. Frankenstein had a surprise for good old
Yeah.
Morbius.
Well, and on Dr. Frankenstein's side, he's mentioned Morbius the last few cycles. He had a folder with his name on it. He was looking at it. Then patient X brought him some files that had Morbius's name on it. So it was becoming more and more clear that Dr. Frankenstein had some kind of curiosity with Morbius. And so we finally see their meeting here. But unfortunately, for all parties, it looks like Dr. Frankenstein either tried to drug or kind of get
Some kind of a serum or something into him.
something from Morbius or give something to Morbius. We're not sure really, right? But
Right.
Morbius sees Patient X coming with this needle, attacks him, and it looks like he's going to attack Dr. Frankenstein, but Dr. Frankenstein pulls out a firearm. So he's obviously terrified, and that leads into the Morbius trash talk.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I caught wind as to how we wanted to run it, I was like, you know what, everybody's getting a little piece of this because poor Morbius, he's just trying to find answers, and it kind of it led him to that same moment. In the comic, he's like, hey, relax, don't shoot me. I just want answers. I want to know what the hell's going on in this damn world.
Right.
This league is upside down, and I can't even find my footing.
Right.
And
And it's kind of like Morbius is having these altercations, uh, but I want to say it's almost like they're through like no fault or no fault of his own, right? He's just trying to figure out what's going on.
right.
Um, and we also really don't know what Dr. Frankenstein's motivations are here, right? Obviously, he wasn't very honest, but it's still possible that in his mind, he's trying to do the right thing.
Right, and he
It doesn't
actually
really say here.
right. I mean, he basically wanted questions as to who had Boswell killed. Who ordered the hit,
Right.
and the truth. When I don't know if Morbius was ready for the truth when he heard that the dragons were the ones, but
Yeah.
oh man. But look, we couldn't get any answers because the Fox woman came out and looks like she wanted some revenge on Morbius for attacking Wolfman Joe last time around.
Yeah. Fox Woman's not the person to mess with. Fox
Oh,
Woman is as vicious and tough as they come.
oh yeah, no, anybody that still doesn't believe it, come get some because that Fox
Yeah.
woman will surprise you.
No
But
doubt.
I mean,
Former Bronze Federation champion Fox Woman Santana.
you know it. Oh
So
man. Now, biggest shocker, I mean, was the I mean, when I was reading through it, was Sinister Bagul reaching out to the Krampus. I
yeah.
mean, I mean that this cycle when I saw that I was like, yes, this is what we need. This is what we need. We need some more tandems. We need some more people, tagging up because they're tired of Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a identical reaction. I was like, "Oh, brother, this could be over the top amazing." Um
yes,
and so so Krampus we find gets approached by Sinister by Ghoul, and basically the idea is we each have issues with either Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers. Like we should team up and take them on and take them out. And then I love when a plan comes together. The Krampus and Sinister Bagul won the Apocalypse tag team titles this cycle.
oh yeah,
So
that's the cherry on top right there.
cherry on top. So clearly they are a formidable tag team. So there is what I kind of teased in our like commissioner side show that I'll talk about here as we talk about this trash talk. We'll see how the story develops, but I am not above the possibility of making the Terra Tag title match a triple threat.
Ooh.
If if it turns out that Krampus and Sinister Bagul and Jason and Michael need to settle their differences, I think the pay-per-view is the stage to do that on. So we'll see how that develops. I'm not going to eliminate that possibility. We could have a triple threat.
I mean, just the number of new champions that we saw on the title page, just like I said, just to see these new stories developing. Because the other one that we were tracking was
Michael and Krampus, right? So
Michael
Jason and Bagul
Bagul.
have had their issues, right? One of my favorite feuds for sure of the last half of 2018, and then we are seeing the further development of Michael Myers and Krampus. I just think it's awesome. I'm excited. I think this could be a huge feud for all four monsters. So I think it's pretty cool to see a tag team like Sinister Bagul and the Krampus take on Jason and Michael, who really have been, along with the Patients, were kind of the big tag teams in 2018. I would say the Dragons were definitely maybe the premier kind of stable of wrestlers, right? But when you talk about tag team wrestling, we had Patience Y and Z, and we had Jason and Michael, who really were leading the tag team division. So
Oh
if we
yeah.
can have the Krampus and Sinister Bagul, I'm
Oh yeah.
telling you, that could be cool. That could be really cool.
Oh yeah. Just to add some more monsters that are willing to throw down in pairs, because like we mentioned early on, they don't really like to tag up too much, but
Yeah,
looks like we're finding a couple that are that are.
yeah, and they won tag titles already, so I love it.
Oh yeah. Now,
Yeah, that was probably the thing I got. As there's so much good stuff,
oh
as
yeah.
always, but that's probably the one that that most got my blood flowing.
Oh yeah. Now we mentioned last show about how the dragons look like they're becoming Satan's work what is it, workhorse, or Satan's
Doing his bidding.
there you go, Satan's doing
Yeah,
Satan's bidding, yeah. So and it looks like they're going to get darker. I mean, even though
yeah,
they're still luchadores, they don't look like yeah, this trash talk was scary. I'm
yeah.
scared. I'm like,
Well, it talks, and there's a lot of symbolism here, and so I'll be interested to see. I have my theories, right, as to who the first beast represents and who the second beast represents.
man,
But
anytime I start, reading something like this about the beast, I always think of like Dante's Inferno or something. I'm like, oh man, we're going through the, the nine circles of hell here. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
yeah, it's pretty dark, even for the LNL, it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
So I am intrigued. The luchadors, the dragons have definitely gone supernova into the uh, evil side or evil aspect in terms of doing the work of the devil. So
I mean, let's say it like it is. I mean, here they are. They're in front of a man of quote unquote a man of God, and they get backstabbed, and they get, maybe they think, hey, you know what, we chose one path, it didn't work out for us, sucks that they went, full 360 and went the whole other
right,
way, but
right, yeah, no, right, and it's a case where you're like, you can see where the dragons have that motivation, right? They
right.
spent a year following Reverend Boswell, who was supposed to be changing everything for the better, right? And supposed to be, like you mentioned, this righteous man of God. And really, Reverend Boswell was a despicable human being, right? And so maybe that had a dire effect on the psyche of the dragons. Certainly, it obviously did. they are now followers of Satan. So it is a path of darkness for them, and we'll see how that affects the rest of the league.
I'll tell you who it's not affecting. It's Catfish Rob's uh, perception of them. One
Yeah,
way or the other. Catfish doesn't care if
yeah,
you're praying to this Lord, that Lord, the Greek gods, whatever kind of, whatever, he doesn't care. He's like you hear, what do you call him? Look here, Dragon Boy. Look here, Dragon Boy.
yeah. Like you're still a piece of trash. I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
man. But I mean,
I
Catfish looks like Catfish still wants, he still wants his share of Dragon Rojo. He's not going to let off of him. And I think with the backup that he has coming, I think it's going to allow Catfish to focus on the singles action. Hopefully he can focus on singles and keep bringing home that gold. And hopefully with Foxwoman and Wolfman Joe and now with RoboCat and Squeaky moving into help out as well. So hopefully that Catfish group also keeps moving forward.
yeah, for sure. I definitely think that there is another showdown brewing between the members of the Dragons group, who are they the 666 LL, Lucifer's Luchadors maybe.
That's what it was.
But
Lucifer's
you know,
Luchador.
so there's definitely a showdown between them and Catfish Rob and Company, a Bruin. So we'll see how what pay-per-view match we get out of that. But certainly there's got to be a Dead by Dawn pay-per-view match between those two groups in some form or fashion.
Oh yeah, I thought we were gonna try and secure that Survivor Series,
Yeah,
but I think the Dragons may have their hands full that pay per view maybe.
yeah. Well, uh, I was going to mention to you off air, but I can mention it now if you want. Kind of my thought and what I think we could look at doing.
Oh yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
So
if
since we have,
if it's too secretive, we can always edit it out. If it's
we can always edit it out. Since Dragon Amarillo already has a Underworld title match, and since Catfish Rob is already in an Anarchy title match, my thought, tentative, certainly up to the players, is that maybe the other three dragons could face off with some combination of three people on the other side. Maybe maybe not Catfish. I'm sorry, because Catfish is in the title match. Maybe Foxwoman, and or Wolfman Joe, and or RoboCat, and or
nice.
Squeaky. So some combination of three face off against the other three dragons in a Survivor Series style like elimination match.
Oh yeah.
Certainly, obviously, we got to go no rules for this, right? But I mean, clearly,
Oh
but
yeah.
just kind of instead of 4-on-4, maybe go 3-on-3.
Yeah. No. I mean, especially like I said, with the other guys having their their spotlight match or their main event match. No point in making them do double duties. I mean, we got enough cast.
Right.
And
That
I'll tell you
yeah.
the other one that's going to be the X factor moving into this pay per view is I mean obviously now that the Krampus and Sinister Bagul have become more involved, that's awesome. I know Jason and Michael have always been there, ripping heads off. But I'm curious as to if Blade's gonna get involved more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We'll have to see. I mean, Blade is listed as the vampire hunter.
yeah, that's what makes me even more worried. I'm like, that bum's probably gonna come after poor. Now I gotta ask, Sinister Bagul, has he ever mentioned? Is he a vampire as well?
No.
No. Okay.
That's a character from the movie Sinister.
Okay.
So it is. I'm not huge into creepy movies, so probably most people are fine. I get creeped out by scary movies, which I know is funny because I'm commissioner of the
As a movie
LNL,
night.
but I get super creeped out by what are supposed to be scary movies. So no, it's a spirit type character or a demon type character who manipulates and kills based on uh, kind of having seen certain footage, if I remember the movie correctly,
Oh,
but not a vampire.
okay. So Morbius is the only one that needs to be worried. So Morbius, watch out, Morbius, they're coming for you. Heads up. Heads
Right.
up.
If I were Morbius, I would keep a lookout for Blade the Vampire Hunter. Yes.
Oh yeah, watch out.
Yes, sir.
Now we got a Foxwoman. Looks like Foxwoman also chasing after that underworld belt.
Yeah. So, Catfish and Foxwoman have done an excellent job of continuing to talk about their long-term goal. Right. The long-term goal is to be underworld champion.
Oh yeah.
So it's I appreciate that they continue to mention it because sometimes it's easy to get kind of lost in the woods, right?
Right.
But uh, Catfish and Foxwoman never lose sight of the ultimate goal being to become underworld champion.
And hopefully at this upcoming pay-per-view, he makes that a reality because
Yes. So uh, in terms of Monsters Ball, Foxwoman was among the 15. Uh, so hopefully she stays among the 10. Right.
nice.
I haven't done those updates yet. So
Like that'll come next show. That'll come next.
correct. Correct.
Oh man.
Yeah, Foxwoman and Catfish still going after the dragons. Wolfman Joe on the next page, not necessarily Wolfman Joe, but Foxwoman speaking for Wolfman Joe. You had mentioned he might have some vampiric qualities, which I think is really super interesting. So hopefully, he comes out of his coma and we get kind of what develops there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I when I read it, I was like, he's doing what? Like, damn it! Why did I have to go biting him? I gotta go biting
Right.
him.
I only made him stronger.
Right.
No.
Yeah. You know what? And I mean, to go a little off, breaking the fourth wall, like they say. I mean that's one of the kicks I get. When like I said, when working with other managers, when you can move something forward, that I've done, I always
Right.
find that just like it's in the same fashion like with keeping the head in the box, like what we had mentioned. Hey, let's keep it to where the original people intended. Like I don't want to all of a sudden have it, you know, something that they don't want. Maybe he just doesn't want that character to continue on.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to make sure, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? Yes, okay, cool.
Yeah.
In that same sense with Wolfman Joe, Catfish reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, bud, I want to do this." I'm like, dude, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Well,
awesome.
you
Let's
talk
keep it
about
moving.
right. You talk about developing a story. That never crossed my mind prior to reading it that Wolfman Joe would now have, you know, certain qualities of a vampire. Just didn't occur to me. But now that I read it, I'm like, yes, of course. I'm like, but how smart, and it's the idea of taking what you get and saying, what can I do with this, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
now Wolfman Joe has a further complexity that makes him a more interesting character.
yeah,
So I love it. I think it's
yeah.
great.
In that same sentence, in that same, just like you were mentioning about the underworld stuff. That's awesome that he keeps that stuff moving. And as just like with the, I think it was Michael Myers, throwing the jab at the Krampus for Christmas, just bringing
Right.
the season into your trash talk. Just bring in something
Right.
from outside of the league into it, just to make it more, paint that picture like they say. But
Correct.
oh man,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, so then we have Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, who I know that my esteemed co-host doesn't watch a lot of NXT, but Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong are the names of two NXT superstars.
aha,
So I'm not sure how closely I would guess that these two characters are intended to be based on those two characters. So they come out and they attack Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees,
and
and
Jason.
they say some pretty unflattering things that I don't know if I would be willing to say to Michael Myers. But we'll see. We'll see how Michael and Jason respond. I do think that there is a danger when you are a living, breathing, normal man and you're challenging Jason and Michael Myers. But we'll see how it all plays out.
Good
I've been
luck. Good
surprised
luck.
before.
Yeah,
I think it's a firm possibility that Michael Myers is going to come out next cycle and
chops some
impale
heads off.
somebody. So so we'll see how it all plays.
Oh,
But so
yeah.
we'll
If
see.
you
I
if
mean,
you
kudos to two normal men going out and calling them out, I guess.
yeah, good luck there, guys. I mean,
Good
but
luck.
watch out for that axe. Watch out for that
Mhm.
axe. Oh
No
man.
doubt.
Now,
So
if you haven't noticed, the Living Nightmare League is 18 and over. A lot of heads coming off, a lot of body parts getting ripped off. So
yeah, pretty. It gets a little gory, a little bloody. So to that point, the next trash talk. Speaking of our Terror Tag Team champions, once again, Michael Myers beats up poor Bigfoot, who now we know is a bit of a gentle giant.
oh,
So, so
oh,
he beats up poor Bigfoot,
oh man.
and I feel a little bad now. We've painted Bigfoot already as a bit of a sympathetic character, but Michael apparently isn't too worried about it. Um,
Well, hey,
and
just by looks alone, hey, maybe
just
Michael
by
saw him, said, "Hey, nah, dude, you're going down, brother. Yeah, I don't care what you, big old hairy, Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, like Strange Wilderness. If anybody hasn't seen Strange Wilderness, it's a movie that came out, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. The movie itself isn't anything fantastic, but there's one part in the movie that gives me the best belly laugh every time I see it, and it has to do with a Bigfoot, with a Yeti. So I don't want to I won't spoil it this time. I'll give everybody a few weeks to watch it, but
and then,
it makes me laugh so hard every time. It is hilarious.
nice.
But something. Speaking of continuing a story well, Jason Voorhees trash talk this time starts out with the acknowledgement that Jason hasn't been seen in several weeks since the attack by Sinister Bagul in the last
Nice.
bulletin. So, and that I think I want to mention when we talk about trash talk, right, is not only a good callback, but kind of a good respect for your opponent, right? If Jason starts with, before he absolutely slaughters him with a pitchfork, if he acknowledges that Sinister Bagul kind of, in a way, like put him on the shelf, right? So he's acknowledging that this attack had an effect, and so it
Yes.
builds up both characters, right? Because now Sinister Bagul is tough enough and good enough that he can hurt Jason, but Jason's strong enough that he can come back, right? So now both characters are enhanced. So that's cool. Well done on that. But Jason gets his revenge this cycle, beats him up pretty sufficiently, needless to say. And the other thing that he does is he mentions carrying around his terror tag belt and hitting him with it. So I also appreciate that. It's always good to include the commissioner title in your trash talk, kind of making sure that people remember the importance of those titles. So
Speaking of which, Bosco the Clown, if you're listening, Bosco the Clown, if you're listening, want to hear? Haven't heard from Bosco. Haven't heard from him.
not in a while,
Not in a while.
and I will say one of my favorite. I've said it before. People may be getting tired of hearing about it, but one of my favorite LNL moments of all time is where Jason Voorhees or nope, I think it's Michael Myers. And Bosco's big clown feet are flailing in the air.
Yes.
It makes me laugh. It's hilarious. His big clown feet flailing in the air. But yeah, Bosco is a great character. Does great work when he trash talks. So I certainly would welcome a return to trash talk from Bosco the Clown.
Oh yeah. Now we got a lot going on here in the Living Nightmare League, as you can tell. If you're interested in joining the action, make sure reach out to Commissioner Scott Anderson here, and like I said, join the action because there's a lot of fun and a lot more fun to be had. Commissioner, any last words before we sign this one off?
Well, I do want to double check. I think this picture on the back of this rather intimidating looking figure is the Krampus. So if anybody wants to comment or confirm that this figure on the back with the chain and the horns, I'm 99% sure it's the Krampus, but if somebody wants to confirm that for me, that would be fantastic.
And I'm assuming the one right before it was Sinister.
Correct. Okay. Which actually, what's funny is that's the picture I used for the cover. So the picture that's on the cover is the same one that he sent in.
Nice, scored.
But yeah, so a little continuity there. It's fine.
Yeah, that works. Oh man, like I said, a lot going on, a lot of fun here. You've been listening to Commissioner Scott Anderson, and myself, IWA Flip, has been Living Nightmare After Hour Trash Talk Edition. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.